Right, so this is my Golf. Thanks to some great advice that I had on Vortex, I'm going to get an EGT gauge on it. It's my boost gauge here. It's up by 1 pound, but it's pretty reliable. It's a VDO. This is the overfueling, or what I think is overfueling, idling at about 1100 instead of the usual 9 to 1000. Fuel screws all the way in, but I can't, and I've used the other two screws in the fuel pump to try and adjust it and slow it down, but it actually won't slow down. Yeah, so thanks to that great advice, I'm going to get an EGT gauge. I should have. What I'm going to do is, I won't use this dimmer thing, I'm going to cut that out, and I'm going to put the EGT gauge there, so that'll be quite nice. EGT gauge on that side, and then boost gauge on that side. So, I'll show you what I've got. Hey Larry! I've got a potty on, a pod filter, got a pod filter on it. Pretty good. It spools a lot. Just spools really loud. Sounds like a nice vacuum, to be honest. Maybe I'll turn it off so there you go. Should be able to hear me a little better now. Right. So I've got some aftermarket fuel lines in there, fuel return fuel return lines, which I'm going to take out and put new ones in, because as you can see, they let air in. So I'm obviously not happy with that. I've got the fuel screw down here adjusted, and the other screws which I've worked are, if you can see them, there you go, these two, that one and that one. Yeah, so I think maybe I could try and slow it down with that a bit. The car in general, nice body, sounds a bit like a vacuum cleaner. I've got an EGR delete. I've turned that off. I've got the plate. The plate is right there. That's where I'm going to tap and install my EGT. It's got a very long sensor, so I'm going to stuff. Get in there. I'm going to stuff it in so it's down towards cylinder 4 and 3. I've got a custom intercooler setup, which actually works very well. If you touch one, it's about. This one's actually cold, and that one's warm. But once it's going, this one you touch it, it's about as hot as the water when, say, I'm shaving. So just, lukewarm. And this one you can't touch, it's just so hot. Got a nice Optima battery in there. Intercooler is a front mount down there. It came out of a, I think it was a Passat 1.8T. They're usually mounted up in the fender well, but I put it down there in the front. Works very, very, very well, very efficient. I don't know, I've got some other goodies like indicators and lights and things like that. So my pickle is how to get that idle back down without affecting the MPG or the power. Yeah, so thanks to the recent posts I've got, you know who you are, I'm going to get an EGT in there. Also going to change these guys out. Because I notice I've got some air going to my lines there. Going to put some better clamps on. Going to put the EGT in. Thinking about, I've got a boost pin back in Canada from a 1.6, so I was thinking about doing that adaptation. I'm not sure actually what it does. Does it increase fueling, or does it let me tune it better? I'm not sure. Now, when I really nail it, when I really give this thing, give it a good pounding, you could say, as like before in the other video when I was going, it doesn't smoke at all. I thought smoking was overfueling, so if it was overfueling, say from the injectors or whatnot, shouldn't I be leaving, a big puff of smoke behind me? It used to be called the squid. Now he's got a custom exhaust, and I asked him where it came from. I've just got the stock exhaust down there, but I was thinking, he said he had a 2.5 inch. I was thinking about maybe doing that as well. So I'm not sure what other mods I should go for next, considering things like I want to get more power and more miles to the gallon, one or the other. I do about 200 Ks a day, so really am tuning it for that kind of performance. I live in a climate where it never gets below 5 degrees Celsius. So yeah, any suggestions would be great. I'd love to get the pump tuned by Giles, but or Gilles, as we say in French. But that's about $900, and I can't afford that at the moment. What else? I think there was something to do with putting 12 volts into one of these fuel fuel solenoids. I'm not sure what that does. If you unplug one or plug one in, or supply it with a constant 12 volts, I can't remember what that does or not. I was thinking about that. I think the intercooler actually was really hard. It was a really hard job to do, but I didn't notice any power difference, but I did notice a mile per gallon change. And that's supposed to lower my EGTs anyways, because the EGR delete is supposed to raise them. Obviously, I'm running about, I reckon it's about 13 to 14 pounds off the turbo, so it's going to be getting a little bit hotter in there. But anyways, I'm going to get that gauge on stat and see what my temperatures are and keep an eye on them. But any suggestions for any general improvements? I mean, obviously I'm going to change these lines out because they're crap. I thought they'd be good. They're from marine applications, so they're meant for vacuum and for fuel, so that's good. Any suggestions would be much appreciated. Even just things like, oh yeah, you should get those to the injector type clamps, try and stop air from going in. Yeah, onto that. Yeah, I've been going all through the forum looking for different things. I'll put synthetic oil in the transmission. It's a manual, obviously. That actually made a difference. I could feel it right away, like, whoa, a little bit more power and a little bit smoother shifting. So I did that. I've got a whole complete parts car that I could take parts off of. Say if someone said, oh, you should tune and port the intake, it'll make a difference. I could do that. I've got the other turbo. Yeah, open to suggestions. What do you think? Even some wacky things like, I've heard, oh, you can take this oil line here and make it go around and round for like maybe 20 feet, and you can get a lot more diesel oil in it, and it keeps it fresh longer, better mileage that way. I don't know. I've got slightly larger, I've got mags on it. It's a bit of a hard ride, to be honest, but it's all right. They're slightly larger, so that actually helps with my gearing, because it makes it so that I'm doing less revs for higher speed. I've got lots of power, lots of power when I'm rolling on the highway. I really wouldn't mind, say, even, I mean, putting a larger tire on. That wouldn't bother me either. Yeah, to try and get that down. I'd love to have a 6-speed, but I've no idea how to do that. I read once on VW Vortex, reading around, that you can swap the 5th gear out in on the tranny. Something, I don't know how hard or easy it is, but I think you're supposed to get in from the side here, from the side axis. I believe there's a bearing under there. It's usually a green cap, mine's a little dirty. You can get in through there, or maybe you have to split the transmission, take it out